Welcome to Suthichai Live English. My guest tonight is a very special friend, and he has just been named National Artist, the ศิลปินแห่งชาติ in Thai, a very respected position, and you only have to be very special to be named as National Artist. And I think for Somtow Sucharit-kun is long overdue. I don't know why they waited for so long to name him National Artist. In fact, in his own right, he doesn't need to be honored by anyone. I think his readers, his people who have been watching him doing music, writing, everything else he has done already has put him on a very special status in Thailand. สวัสดีครับคุณสมเถา
สวัสดีครับ How are you?
How are you? Well, we don't get to talk until you get a reward, an award.
Right. It's the very odd thing that you just said. Well, why should I even get this award when everybody already, that sort of thing. And it's very true that it's sort of a bittersweet thing.
Why? Why is it bittersweet?
Because if you look at the history of the arts, throughout the history of Western art, or all art, or world art,
right,
you discover that the majority of artists who are really loved and respected today were hideously rejected in their lifetimes.
Yes.
And many artists who were honored in their lifetimes are sort of nowhere today. So in a way, it's a rather frightening thing. And perhaps the fact that you mentioned that it's taken so long.
Right.
Perhaps that has something to do with, you see, because one of the great things about being a national artist is that there's a small monthly stipend.
All right.
That you see for just existing.
All right. And you know what? They even pay for your funeral.
Well, that's almost the thing is now I don't have to be a burden to anybody who comes after me because when I die they'll take care of that.
Right.
So in that sense, it's a useful thing. And in another sense, it's I don't think it's fair to compare it to nations that have had a long tradition. National artists, like some people, like my Norwegian friends, are saying, but in Norway, if you are a national artist, they would give you a house.
A house, huh? Wow.
And whereas other countries that are just as respectable don't have this at all. So I think Thailand it's a good thing that this award exists.
But I must warn you that a few months ago I saw a story in the papers saying that the monthly payments for a number of national artists was delayed because of some bureaucracy, some bureaucratic rules. So be careful. You have to keep the check, whether the check has been posted.
I did get a payment eventually. And the amazing thing is that they made it retroactive to the day that I was.
I see.
It was actually a reasonable sum. And so far, it's not been bad. It has come on time. Of course, it's all automatic now. So
how long now have you been national artist? How many months have you been paid?
Well, unofficially, I've been one for about 6 months because that was when the announcement was made. But officially, I've only been one for a few days because
I saw that.
I only was given this little medal thing. I can show it to you actually. Would you like to see it?
Please do.
Yes, that's here. Let me show you this thing.
Okay, this is great. Yes.
It's
Right. Nice. Yes.
It's real. Now I can believe that it's true because I can go out in public and wear this. And people can actually know that I am one.
Right.
The thing is that the old age thing is interesting because, of course, with the monthly stipend, it's very useful if you are close to death. And some people have said, "Oh, they're just simply waiting until you get
I see.
I'm old and unable to do anything." But what I didn't tell them
Yes.
was that it's my intention
True.
to, now that I have a National Artist Award, to stay around for at least another 10 to 20 years,
Okay.
and actually
Yeah.
actually achieve those things which you can only achieve
Okay.
when you have the sort of the backing, at least the, maybe not the at least the emotional or recognition, that the kind of official backing. There's some things that you could only achieve that way, and I intend to actually achieve them.
Okay. Okay. That's a good sort of New Year's resolution now. Now they have an excuse to stay alive.
Yes, yes, yes. But because most people who have received this recognition have died almost immediately. So
Oh, really? Oh, so don't die yet. You need to
so
live
many people.
enjoy it. Right. Right. But then, I saw a story somewhere saying distinguished Silapathorn artist of Thailand, Somtow Sucharitkun, has been called by the International Herald Tribune the most well-known expatriate Thai in the world. In the world.
And that was 25 years ago.
I know. I was just read this when you got the Silapathorn Artist Award, right?
No, I mean the Herald Tribune called me that 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I'm nobody. 25 years ago I was world famous. Now I'm nobody because Thailand, and there was a moment when I was almost the only person known to the outside world because my work was in English,
right,
and had many international, and had a couple of million readers and so on. But now you see, Thailand has entered the world stage in a big way, and there are all sorts of Thais who are much more international recognized. And I mean, you only to think of them, Lisa, for example.
Lisa,
For example, I mean these, or even the Apishat Pong, the film director who won it. I mean, these people are way more famous than me now. So, so that quote from the Tribune is nice, but it's a bit outdated.
No, it's never outdated because if I found it, it means it's still there. You see, so it said it would be nice to be reminded that 25 years ago, the International Herald Tribune, which doesn't exist now, though.
Right, exactly.
Said
I'm outlasted my own quote.
All right, outlasted your own quote, right? But said in the article that his first career was in music.
Yes.
And in the 1970s, he acquired a reputation as a revolutionary composer, the first to combine Thai and Western instruments in radical new sonorities, right? Conditions of the arts in the region at the time proved so traumatic for the young composer that he suffered a minor burnt out, immigrated to the US, and reinvented himself as a novelist. Wow, that is something really exciting. So is it all true? Or did they make it up, the story?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, the work that I did in collaboration with Danu Hunter-Kun and Bruce Gaston in the 1970s was very radical and very unpopular. And we believed that a fusion of Thai classical music and Western contemporary music could occur. And everybody thought it was nonsense. I mean, when we were rehearsing one of my pieces, the person who played the Kong Wong in my piece, he walked out. He said that we cannot play this. It is against our tradition. I refuse to play this music.
Oh, you refused? Why?
Yeah. And I was attacked by the Department of Fine Arts.
Oh, wow.
On the day of our opening concert.
Really? What did they say?
They hid the piano so that we wouldn't be able to perform.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they hid the piano.
It was so bad.
And an official came down from the department and said, "Now, we have determined scientifically that
Sci-
modern music will ruin the strings of the piano, and therefore, for its protection, we have removed it. So this is how things were in the 1970s. So naturally, all three of us were very severely affected by all this. And we were young, you see. We didn't know that it takes time.
Mhm.
And I only came back to Thailand when I realized that this revolution had occurred.
Oh yeah.
Over you can watch a deodorant commercial on TV, and you could have Thai traditional music mixed in with modern music. You see, and
Right.
nobody would think, "Oh my God, this is against tradition." Nobody would think this,
No, but
and this
Bruce
is because
Bruce Gaston persisted. He stayed in Thailand, right?
you see,
And
both Bruce and Danu stayed in Thailand,
so
but they were very much changed by the experience. Bruce Gaston drifted, you see, into a more fusion, new age kind of style.
yeah, yeah.
And Danu Hunter Good created the Butterfly Orchestra, and he was doing these Thai traditional melodies. It was so basically we retreated from the edge of the precipice and went into comfort zones,
Yeah.
different comfort zones. You see.
Uh-huh.
And my comfort zone was quite radical because I just started writing science fiction instead.
You first of all, you fled the scene. You went to the U.S. and you
Yes.
started into another area of arts, writing.
Right.
As what? As a sign of rebelling against the Thai tradition, or was it that you had enough gift in writing to be able not to care about music for a while?
Well, it's true that I didn't do any music for over 20 years, about 20 years.
Wow.
And what it was that I was very blocked. I couldn't compose. My mind was completely blocked. And I started writing as a therapeutic thing to try to get out of the block.
Right.
You see, and what happened was that these stories that I wrote for my own amusement started to be able to appear in magazines,
Yes.
and so the career sort of created itself
Mhm.
without my realizing it.
Mhm.
So in about 5 or 6 years, I thought of myself entirely as a writer, and the whole music thing was like a dream.
I remember you using what, SP Somtow or something, right?
That's the name I use for my books. I still use it because now I've gone back to writing as well.
Yeah, and from time to time you wrote political pieces as well, or some satire, right?
Satire, yes. So that's because I thought I would never come back, so that I would never be shot or beheaded.
So your earliest novels were science fiction mainly, right?
Yes, right.
And then the Vampire Junction, and the International Herald Tribune said you injected a new, literally inventiveness into the horror story, right?
Yes, there's a genre of horror called splatterpunk. Splatterpunk.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm one of the original members of this group that sort of
Wow.
was godfather to this subgenre. So,
You
but
said-
now it seems very retro. The stories are written in that style. It seems curiously 80s, so.
Right. They were saying that you combined, style of Stephen King, William Burroughs, and the author of the Revelation to John, right, and all this. Wow. How did you come to writing science fiction? Were you a science fiction reader as a kid, or what kind of inspiration did you get?
When I was a kid, science fiction was the bulk of my pleasure reading.
Okay. Mhm.
There were great science fiction books in the classroom library, which since I went to the Patna school as a child, many of this class library was full of books that expatriates left behind and donated to so almost every literary thing was, and they didn't really know what kids should or shouldn't read. They just put everything there. So today, everything would be banned. Everything, but they didn't know, and because they didn't know, my class at Patna created all sorts of very very significant people. Well, for example, I was in the same class as V.S. Ramachandran, one of
Oh,
the great
yes.
fathers of neuroscience, you know.
Right.
And we had a small laboratory together in his garage,
Really?
which when we would sneak off with the maid sometimes, and we would sneak off on the bus to Patunam to buy chemicals at Chinese drugstores
Oh,
and perform experiments. And for example, and another person who was in my class was K Kwon Ping Ho.
Kwon Ping, I know Kwon Ping.
Yeah,
Oh,
he became a huge hotel mogul.
I know
But
he was a young journalist writing against the Lee Kuan Yew at the time, and his father was an ambassador here, right?
yes, well, his Lee Kuan Yew imprisoned him. You know.
I know. Oh, so you were running around with him?
Yes, we were like little children together. So and his sister Min Fong, she was in our class too, and she was a Seawright Award-winning writer.
Yeah, I know.
And so it was an amazing class to be in.
Yeah. And even Kwon Ping now, do you see him from time to time? He's this big hotel mafia.
Yeah, I see him all the time. In fact, he is responsible for much of the success of our youth orchestra because he sponsors like our performances in Phuket, where we've basically reached out to a whole new community there, and he's been and we also do a about twice, 3 or 4 times a year. We do concerts in the Banyan Tree in Bangkok.
Oh, great!
And that's under the auspices of Kwon Ping. So and those are concerts where people can sit right close to classical music, symphonic performances, and really experience them as though by immersion, almost.
Right. Well, Kwon Ping, he met me many years ago, and he reminded me that, Suthichai, you remember, I applied for a job as a reporter at The Nation. And I decided not to take it because the pay you offer was so bad, so small. I couldn't live with that salary. I said, of course, as a reporter, you have to be poor and struggling.
Yes, being poor is absolutely essential.
Essential.
Well, it's essential. In a way, it's essential to be an artist, because
Artists too, huh?
because I'm the only person in my family who's still poor.
I was too poor. They allowed you to be poor. They made sure that you remain poor.
They allowed it because first because I rebelled against most of the values that, and also because I think that if the inheritance law had gone another way, I would be a mogul or something, and I think I would not have achieved anything that I have achieved today, because I'd just be sitting around. Because I'm not cut out for that. Somebody like Kwon Ping, he has a great visionary imagination about the hotel industry, but I wouldn't. I'd be completely clueless.
No. If your life turn, if you have taken the other turn on the road, you might create your own business. Inventiveness in you might just prop up. You never know.
But in that case, it's quite conceivable that my novels, my music, those would be a hobby.
I know, a hobby, yeah. And you might be the big patron, the sponsor.
Yeah, or I mean, in this country, most people before this generation, most people who did something in the arts were rich, and they basically used their own money.
Yeah, that's the only way, I think.
And since I'm unable to do that, I've had to go the other route of like begging people for money all the time.
Okay, so the book Just Midnight, I remember that. That was very famous, very successful, right? Was it the most successful novel you wrote?
up to that time, yeah, I think that's true. But the thing is that it appeared as a serial in so I would say a rival newspaper
Rival. Yeah. Okay. Rival.
or a weekly serial,
Uh,
right? And people were following it regularly. And but once the book was completed,
Mhm.
it was rejected by over 30 publishers
Really?
before somebody agreed to take a chance on it. And because it wasn't the kind of thing I usually wrote. It wasn't another horror novel or another science fiction novel.
Right.
But eventually, Penguin
Penguin. Okay. Of all.
picked it up, and so suddenly I became a classic writer instead of just some genre person.
Oh, right. Uh-huh.
Right.
So,
And
so sorry. In total, how many books have you written?
I think it's about 110 right now,
Wow, 110. Huh?
about approximately. I have a list. I could.
Good. But could you have lived, survived on just writing?
If I'd stayed in the U.S., that's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
quite possible. But after moving back to Thailand, after about 3 or 4 years, I used up everything that I'd saved up from and so so it's been struggling ever since. I'm at my age, which is 71. I'm doing a lot of the youthful struggles that young artists have. I'm going through a lot of that.
I see. But when you came back, you didn't stop writing.
I did for a while, but now I'm writing again
You are.
because again, selling my books is still the only reliable income I have.
Really? Oh, okay. So you're off.
But the thing, a revolution happened in publishing while I was gone, because the Amazon and people like that, they created a new kind of self-publishing, and the big publishers all joined each other and became just 3 of them.
Right.
And they didn't buy; they only bought completely new authors,
Yeah.
which they could pay nothing to, or really, really big ones where they would pay $1 million. So the people in the middle were completely cut out, and I was cut out too.
Oh,
So eventually, I got all the rights back to all those books, and I've been issuing them myself on Amazon, and I sort of live on that, on my backlist and on new books that come out.
so that is sufficient.
Well, that plus the pittance that the being a national artist is paying, and I managed to sort of eke out a meager existence. Yeah.
Migo existence? No, come on. You are exaggerating a bit, right? You live.
Actually, not. The opera which I've founded, it's gone bankrupt about 3 times already. So
Uh-huh. So
and
now,
I sold everything in my house in the States, everything, in order to fund this so-called hobby.
so-called hobby.
Yes.
So what are you doing these days? Apart from you said you've gone back to writing, what else keeps you
Well,
busy?
I'm still doing a lot of music, and I've gone back into film as well. So I'm doing 3 things at the same time. Yes.
What kind of film?
Well, at the moment, I just started filming a new film called Phoenix. It's an art film. It's a love story set across 400 years of time in Thailand and Venice.
Venice. Okay. Uh-huh.
And we've actually already filmed quite a few bits of this.
Really?
Over the last, and it's about a cursed lost opera by a 17th century composer, Venetian composer, that happens to be found in the ruins of Ayutthaya.
Wow.
It's all about a big mystery about why does it have a curse? Why does it seem to have Thai melodies mixed into that sort of thing? And so I had to actually write the fake lost opera as well as do the movie.
So you wrote the script?
And I'm directing.
Directing too?
Yeah.
Who is investing in you?
Well, I don't know. How much money have you got? I don't need very much.
Yeah. No, have you talked
so far,
to Have you talked to Netflix?
So far, we're still beginning, and there are a few people who have put in some money, and I'm still trying to raise more.
Ah,
It's guerrilla filmmaking. Every time I get, say, $1 million, I can shoot for 2 more days. So basically, I wait until I get some money, and then I shoot a bit, and then I wait again, like that.
that is a very old way of doing things. Why didn't you just sit down with some of the potential investors and say, I have this script, this is what I propose to do, this is what my forecast is of the size of the audience and possible income, so this is what I expect you to invest, and then if you don't have that amount of money, you don't start shooting.
Well, yes, but the thing is this: the idea of this film is so radical that I can't make anybody believe it until I have something to show.
I see. So have you got that prototype or whatever you call it?
So right now we're working on the trailer, which will
Trailer.
it will debut in Paris.
Paris, huh?
Next month at the and at that point we hopefully the money will either come pouring in or it won't. I just don't know.
Right.
But I have alternate plans. I have the cheapest plan and the middle plan and the expensive plan for doing it.
You have 3 steps, huh? You have 3.
It can be done 3 different ways. But what we're doing now is the guerrilla film plan. That means like that I have actually it's quite a big film crew. It's about like 40 people.
40 people. Wow.
And we're using this top equipment, and it's absolutely looks absolutely beautiful. In fact, I don't know if you're broadcasting this today, but I can send you some footage to show if you like.
No, I'm not broadcasting it today. I'm broadcasting next week. So send me some.
If I'll send you a few bits of it.
Please send it. Send it. Yeah.
Not only is it a wild story, which combines a thriller and a romance and historical and all that, and opera, lots of scenes from operas. Not only is that, but it also showcases many locations in Thailand. For example, tomorrow I'm going to Trat to film in an old temple, which is really beautiful.
I see. You say the crew is about 40 strong.
Yes.
These are the local production people?
Yes. Yeah, it's all an all Thai film crew.
Wow.
And they're brilliant. I mean, these are people who are the camera, the director of photography. He's a person who shoots commercials and TV series, well, Kantana and that sort of thing. But then this is an art film, and he can go wild. He can have creative shots and wild. So of course they're working for almost nothing. Because of it.
Nothing, but it's for them. It's fun and it's good experiment, right?
Yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Right. So you attracted them by saying you can do anything you want, but the pay is very low, right?
Well, not anything they want. They have to follow the vision.
Okay.
But of course, the vision is much more challenging than what they would normally work. I mean, if you do a TV series, it's mostly people in a room and ladies slapping each other's faces.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy, right? But then, is it difficult for you to communicate your vision to the actual production people who need something concrete, something really?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. First, the Thai movie people are very savvy these days. They know the history of film. They understand the whole history of film. They're well educated. They know foreign films very well. So it's not like the old days. And also every shot is particularly meticulously planned every shot in advance, and I have storyboarded every shot that I'm going to shoot myself. So we know exactly what's going to be in. So basically, in order to make this cheaply, I have to sort of edit it in my head before we even shoot.
Wow. That's a big challenge, really big challenge.
But it's fun.
It's fun. I know. It's fun.
Fun, and it's preventing me from dying.
I know. keep your brain active and
Yeah, that's right. As I say, my brain is what each day that I have to think hard, my brain stays alive.
are alert and alive.
Yeah,
Yes. So writing, filmmaking, music, three things at the
yeah.
same
I'm doing. I'm just, but they're all connected. You see, because
time.
I use my writing and music skills when I do opera,
Mhm.
and the film that I'm making is connected to opera. It's connected to music, so it's all one thing really.
Mhm. Mhm.
And actually, in a sense, it's all related to music in the end, because any art form that happens in time relies on rhythm, and so it's really all about making music in different ways.
Mhm. Mhm. What about the new generation of music makers, musicians like you? How has the scene changed with digital disruption, AI coming up? Are you coping okay?
Oh yeah, I mean AI is still far from. I mean, I've written three children's books.
Yeah.
Dinosaur, they're called Dinosaur Symphony, Dinosaur Ballet, and Dinosaur Opera.
Okay.
Each one is a series of little rhymes
Yes.
teaching children about these things,
Okay.
using dinosaur images of dinosaurs doing those things, like playing instruments and dancing. And so I used AI, both DALI and SD, as the SD to help creating the images. But I've discovered that you can call it artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Well, it is artificial, but
Artificial.
it's not intelligent.
Okay.
It's not intelligent. I mean, it's far from. They are not going to take over the world
No.
at this stage. I mean, in order to coax AI into creating an image that I want, I have to create hundreds of them, and I have to tweak them and tweak until I get one that can work. So it's not like you tell the computer to write a book about it. It just doesn't do it. It still doesn't understand.
No. Mhm.
Doesn't understand enough. I mean, I think it will. I mean, I think there will come a day when they'll have legal rights and be treated as entities but that is not quite here yet.
No, not in our lifetime.
Well, it may be. I mean, I'm hoping to live long enough to see it, but
No, but some people have tried. They have what they call prompt the AI by giving it a script and some clues as to how the story
no,
go.
yeah, prompting is a very difficult art, and
Yes.
it's an art that is as creative as creating.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
In fact, it may one day be another art form.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Mhm.
right now, it's very hit and miss.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, you know, um,
Mhm.
and you just have to come up with the prompt you need, but it's still like far from writing a novel or
Oh,
writing a great piece of music. They're just terrible at these things.
I know, but about 20 years ago, when we started having iPhone and social media, and even in the beginning, word processor before computers came about, I said the same thing because I was in the newsroom and people say, "Hey, now we don't have to use the typesetting anymore. We can use a word processor." So I started trying, and it wasn't working. I
No,
said,
you
"No
you
way,
still
no
have to write. I mean, these things are tools. They're not the creator. They're
way."
the tools. The tools have changed,
Uh-huh.
and the tools are much better than they used to be.
Yeah,
That's true. I mean, but that doesn't mean that the act of creation has been. We haven't really given that away to a machine quite yet.
that's true. That's true.
But I don't mind if a machine is as smart and creative as me, I don't mind accepting it as a full partner. But it's not there yet.
No, not yet. And no, if it's more intelligent than we are, then we are not their partners. We are their servants. Be careful.
Well, yes, but that's the old Frankenstein complex about creating monsters. I simply don't believe it. I think that
You don't.
that we'll have plenty of safeguards built in to prevent that from happening.
But only the paranoid survive. Be careful.
Well, I'm certainly, just because I'm not paranoid doesn't mean I'm actually not being persecuted.
Okay, great. So you are having fun, and
very much so.
you are enjoying all the things that you love to do, and you plan to live here. I mean, you don't think about moving anywhere else.
I'm not gonna move back to the U.S. because, frankly, I moved to the U.S. because in that time it was very open. People were very accepting. They welcomed you into their homes. They didn't lock their houses. You met them casually in the street and they invited you to dinner. And now it's not like that at all. It's going and being there is, everybody's terrified. Everybody's cantankerous, belligerent. It is not like it was. And of course they're behind the rest of the world. Behind the
rest of the world.
One of my friends in America said, was saying online to me, I'm afraid to go to other countries because I'm worried about their toilets.
Why?
Well, have they seen a Japanese toilet? A Japanese toilet makes an American toilet look like the Stone Age.
I know. Japanese. And even now, Chinese toilets are much, much better.
Yeah. So, they think that if they go to Thailand, they'll be in the jungle with tigers and elephants. But they're completely behind the real world.
Right. But the fact that you don't think of going back to America has nothing to do with Joe Biden or Donald Trump, right?
Well, it's a lot to do with that because really I don't think that Donald Trump is the cause of this. I think he's a symptom of it.
Symptom, I know.
I think the America today created him.
Yeah.
So if it were not him, there would be somebody else just like them.
So good, and congratulations, Somtow, for being named national artist. And as I said, long overdue. But then enjoy it because it's.
I'm going to, yeah.
Okay. And talk to you again soon. And with your new books, your film, I'm looking forward to watching your film.
I'm going to send a few clips to you so you can incorporate them into the.
Please do. Thank you again. Have a good day.
Thanks very much.
สวัสดีครับ ติดตามสุทธิชัยไลฟ์กับผมทุกวันเช้าสายบ่ายเย็นมีเรื่องร้อนเรื่องวิเคราะห์เรื่องสัมภาษณ์เรื่อง Exclusive ต้องที่นี่ที่เดียวครับไปติดตามผมใน Facebook 2 เพจสุทธิชัยยุ่นกับสุทธิชัยไลฟ์และอย่าลืม YouTube ครับ YouTube ไปกด Subscribe ที่สุทธิชัยไลฟ์กด Subscribe แล้วกดกระดิ่งเตือนคุณทันทีที่สุทธิชัยไลฟ์มาในมือถือคุณนอกนั้น Twitter ไปกดติดตามและ TikTok ครับ TikTok ล่าสุดนั้นสามารถที่จะถ่ายทอดสดสุทธิชัยไลฟ์ให้ทุกท่านติดตามได้เช่นกันสุทธิชัยไลฟ์ anywhere anytime สุทธิชัยไลฟ์คือเพื่อนที่เล่าข่าววิเคราะห์ข่าวสามารถทำให้ท่านทันข่าวทุกวินาทีจากนี้ไปครับ